If we look at the strengths, which are sometimes described as internal, well, look at the qualifications of the person and the experience of the person. These could be strengths: good qualifications, good experience, good knowledge of the product, knowledge of the market, knowledge of processes, good generic knowledge, widespread knowledge, as well as perhaps detailed knowledge of the processes within the organization, within the company. Good personal attitude, somebody who's able to look positively on situations and deal positively with his or her colleagues. Has good motivation, is able to apply him or herself in the situation and will be enthusiastic to get a good result. They're motivated. Whatever motivates them, it could be salary and remuneration, conditions of employment, prospects for promotion, self-worth. They may just simply be motivated because they want to prove to themselves that they can do the job and they're interested. Look at their skills and their qualities. Over and above their qualifications, look at what skills they've acquired. Perhaps practical skills, perhaps interpersonal skills, being able to deal with a variety of people and feel at ease in dealing with others. Look at other personal strengths. For example, look at hobbies and interests. See what is it that motivates people, and what do they enjoy doing, and see if there's a connection between what they enjoy doing and their work commitments. It could be that they're interested in playing chess or playing strategy games on the computer, which suggests that perhaps they have a function or a role to play in terms of planning the organization, or could be consulted in the context of planning, because they can anticipate problems and look at different scenarios and perhaps look laterally at situations as well. Look at their hobbies, look at their interests. It's all a part of the person, and if they've got a wide variety of hobbies and interests, it means the chances are they have more strengths. Also, look at the weaknesses. Again, we call them internal. Look at the gaps in your qualification or in the applicant's qualifications. Just look at where did the qualifications fall short. What aspect of the qualification needs development. It's often the case, for example, somebody coming from an arts background into business may be weak in quantitative areas, but nonetheless will need quantitative skills if they're going to interpret data and interpret facts and figures and look critically at reports which contain quantitative information. So look to the overall qualification, look at gaps. There's always gaps. It could be somebody who comes from a quantitative background into business will be weak in terms of communication skills, English skills. Again, it could be a gap. Sometimes people are just generally rounded. They're the fortunate ones. These are the more interesting ones. They're good at almost everything. Sometimes we encounter people like that. Look at the gaps in your experience or in the person's experience. Look at what they've worked at in the past, the tasks they've undertaken, and see what gaps there are in that experience. Gaps in knowledge. It could be the weakness is having no finance or very poor finances. Sometimes people need retraining, or the need to perhaps have time out from work to acquire new skills, but they can't afford it. They can't afford to go to a college course or undertake training. They need to work. They need the resource, the income from employment. They have commitments towards family, themselves. They have bills to pay. So they can't afford the retraining. Could be poor personality. Sometimes people are hot-tempered, or they could be lazy. It's a part of being a human. We're all not the same. Some people are very motivated, other people are not. They just want a quiet life, to be left alone. Other people get upset very easily and take comments very personally, and they're a source of there's a source of issue and problem in dealing with those people. So not everybody's the same. We have to recognize this. There could be other personal weaknesses. Weaknesses about concentration, being able to focus on work. People who get distracted easily. People who are not that motivated about the particular work they're doing. People who are have other interests, perhaps outside interests, that overwhelm their concentration and their ability to focus on work issues. There are all sorts of other aspects that can be taken into account. Opportunities. Well, looking at the number of job vacancies, these may be opportunities for the individual. There may be a large number of vacancies that suit the individual. So there are a large number of opportunities. It depends on the types of skills and qualifications the individual has got. If the skills and qualifications are very specific, there will be fewer opportunities. Jobs like that only perhaps come up once in a while. But if the skills are more generic, there may be a lot of opportunities. A scientist, somebody who's, let's say, gone to very high level, perhaps at university in science, and have expert knowledge about some particular scientific process, the chances of that person finding a job looking for someone with that exact knowledge is very rare. Whereas somebody less qualified but has wider skill sets, the chances are find it easier to find employment. There could be business opportunities as well. Set up your own business. That's a possibility. Looking at business opportunities. Sometimes people become entrepreneurial, or they are entrepreneurial. They're constantly looking out for opportunities for themselves, and they see a gap and they may become self-employed. Look for available scholarships. Sometimes organizations offer finance to people to study particular skills or particular processes. Perhaps undertake a course looking at computer skills and computer processes as applied to something, and there might be scholarship, there might be money available to finance that. There might be academic opportunities. It could be local colleges are opening courses on some particular interesting study area, and this may afford new opportunities to the individual if they successfully complete the course and add it to their existing set of qualifications and skills. So sometimes there could be new possibilities offered from perhaps educational institutions or skilled-based institutions who are offering additional courses. There might be available support from all sources, from a company who wish to support individuals who study a particular phenomena or process or acquire particular skills. Maybe local government offers support. It can come from a variety of sources. There might be bursaries. Sometimes colleges have bursaries. Perhaps people who studied at the college in the past have left inheritances for the college to be used to support poorer students. So sometimes there are bursaries, finances available from colleges. They have a source of finance that they've set aside to help needy students. The threats, well, potential financial difficulties is always an issue. People undertake particular courses of development only to find that they can't afford to finish it because finance ran short and they needed to go back to work. could be the government is cutting back on certain areas because fiscal policy is such that the government needs to cut back on its own spending to try and pay the national debt, or because the country can't afford particular services. So the government may cut back, and that may be a threat to the development of the individual who wanted to do particular courses at, let's say, a local college, but the local college is now about to close down because the government can't afford to keep it running. There could be competition from rivals. It could be that other individuals who have similar skills and interests are doing other things and developing themselves, and that's a source of competition. So when an individual applies for a particular job or a particular type of employment, there may be a lot of competition for it, and some of the candidates may be very highly qualified. It could be that the country is just facing some sort of up and down situation in terms of the economy. The country goes through periods of recession and boom, perhaps, and it could be that particular sectors in the economy might be turning down, and those are the sectors that perhaps an individual has particular skills in, but those sectors are in decline. It could be changes in the marketplace that invalidate your skills or invalidate the skills of the individual. Markets have changed, products have changed, because there's the aspect of globalization and cheaper imports, so that companies are closing or changing their product lines. There's the onset of very rapid technological change, which make existing skill sets out of date very quickly. So these are threats to the individual. So you can see here from the slide, there are lots of strengths we can identify, and weaknesses and opportunities and threats, and the individual can fill these out specifically under these headings and then get a picture of what is necessary to fulfill the requirements of the marketplace, and to try and ensure that the person can move into meaningful employment. But the individual can do it, but the organisation may ask for it as well, and see how these are changing over time. So to see what the individual is doing to improve him or herself. So it's an important piece of analytical equipment. A SWOT analysis is widely used.